The whole audience was dying laughing.
I truly believe that there isn't an experience like a movie in theaters.
Next time, I'm bringing George Lucas in here.
Oh, man.
What's up, man?
Sir.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
Coming in clean with the corduroy.
Man, I'm coming to you. New York. You know what I mean? I knew you was gonna be looking nice.
You flew in last night, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're queen, right?
No. She sat this one out. Yeah, she at home in the Bay with the kids and handling stuff there.
Yeah, well, congrats.
Man, thank you, man. Thank you.
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
You on the tour?
Yeah. Feeling gratitude and I'm excited. Like I get to see the cast and everybody and
since you rapped, right?
Yeah, exactly. We got real close, all of us, in New Orleans last year, so it's nice to be able to get back together again.
Reconnect?
Exactly. It's nice to be out here to see you.
Well, you know, it's always great to see you, and your film, let me get it out, from the jump, it's phenomenal.
You know I waited for you.
Shit, well, I don't know how in the hell you gonna do that.
Because you told me you loved me.
Well, I told you to stay the fuck away from me too, but I guess you didn't hear that part, huh?
I heard you.
You know what? Let's tell the audience about the phone call.
Yep.
All right,
yep.
Go ahead.
So yeah, we at IMAX headquarters.
In LA, right?
Yeah, in LA. And we QCing the print. We got the print and we got the DCP for
it's like the final check, right? For the audience, yeah.
Yeah, final check, making sure that everything is looking good. It's no
hunky-dory.
Nothing we missed, with VFX or and checking the sound mix. Really just and it's like in pristine condition. It's at the IMAX headquarters in Playa Vista. It's one of my favorite places to watch a movie. And I was, at the headquarters and I was thinking like it's kind of a waste to screen it like that if people not can't be there to appreciate it.
Right.
Because we sick of looking at the movie at this point. You know what I mean? Everybody, producers and the VFX
And you
folks.
made a big mistake. Tell us.
So I said, oh man, I should see if, because I wanted to show you the movie. It's got so many inspirations, but many of them from your movies.
Thank you.
So I was just thinking like, man, I should just check and see on the offhand chance that Spike is in LA. You know what I mean? And I called you. And you was like, yeah, I'm here. And I was like, yo, can you get
That's
here?
the crazy thing. That I'm in LA.
Yep.
That's some spiritual thing right there. Because
it was definitely meant to be.
I'm in and out.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'm at the JetBlue, 6 a.m. JFK, land, do I gotta do, run around. I'm on the ready at night.
I think you was going to a game. When I saw you, you was flying back for a playoff game, I think.
I've been thinking about it. It was not a mistake that I happened to be in LA.
Yeah.
And he said, let me try it.
Yeah. It was a shot in the dark.
He made a mistake though.
Yeah.
Because his mistake is just the three of us.
Yeah, me, you, and Zenzi.
And I'm sitting there, and the whole
first
film,
thing you said, you was like, you don't want to sit next to me. And I was like, man, yes I do. Like
I told you.
Yeah.
I was giving you a warning. And I'm watching my brother's film, and it's like me sitting courtside at the world's most famous basketball garden, and we're kicking the Celtics ass. I'm jumping up and down. I'm going like this.
Yep.
Hey, I was bugging. And then what's the music scene? You have a name for it?
We call it the surreal montage.
Conjuring spirits from the past.
Somebody take me.
And the future.
Now I know what it was.
Yeah.
But I've been telling people, but
Yeah.
when that surreal montage,
Man,
I was like, I lost it, man.
Yeah.
And I know your queen was like, look, you know what? I want to be around after I left, but the both of you said about
yeah, we was just fired up. Like we was just happy that you liked it,
Liked?
Yeah.
I just said I was at the World's Most Famous Magical Garden and we were kicking the Celtics ass.
Yeah.
What more is bigger than that?
But it's a dream. It's a dream come true, man. To be able to, play that movie for somebody who you look up to. So many of your movies affected
But
me.
it was an honor, not to cut you, it was an honor for me, for you to think of me.
Oh,
like
man.
on a 1 in a million chance, I was gonna be in LA.
Yeah.
That and then you had to be like, had like 45 minutes.
It was quick. Yeah, because we
were hauling ass.
You really got there. But I mean,
we were doing what we were doing. Wait. We give you a cinema thing. We were doing Gene Hackman in the French Connection.
Oh,
and
man.
we were doing the Steve McQueen Bullet.
Oh, man.
My guy.
On the hill.
We were hauling ass because I said, you gave me the time. I said, I got to be there.
What was
Lucky
funny,
we didn't get a ticket.
What was funny too was man, you got to do the same thing for me when we got to see Highest to Lowest in New York. But your queen was there though. So it was the four of us.
We had no
movie
IMAX, man. We had a little.
No, it was nice though, man.
We were in the closet.
No, it was nice, and we got dinner afterwards.
Yeah.
But I mean, can I ask you why Kurosawa, and why that movie?
Mm-hmm. Great question. One of the great things about film school, but particularly in when you graduate film school, is that I was introduced to world cinema. When I was little, I had a friend, older friend of the family, who would take us to see samurai films. I was like 10, 11 years old. I didn't know what the fuck was happening. I mean, I liked it when people got their heads cut off and see blood gushing, but I didn't know. I mean, I'm 10 years old.
Yeah.
So it was at NYU graduate film school, first year. My classmates, Ernest Dickerson, who shot all
Big
my
shout out to Ernest.
Up to Malcolm X. He was my DP.
Also did Demon Knight.
Yeah.
Which was an influence on Sinners.
And Ang Lee, they were my classmates.
That's crazy, man.
And so I saw Rashomon.
Oh yeah.
And Rashomon really was the basis for She's Gonna Happen, because in Rashomon, there's a rape and a murder, and various people get their ideal of their vision what happened. So I just hijacked that and I have this woman, Nola Darling, has 3 boyfriends young at the same time. So it's the same thing. And so jump many decades later, the phone rings and I don't recognize the number. And it's Denzel. And he says, what's up, Spike? We go through our thing, and he says, I'm gonna send you a script. You get it at FedEx Marshall. What's about? Does it not? Just read the script, let me know what's happening.
He FedExed you.
FedEx. So when the FedEx truck pulled up the next day, I was waiting. So I didn't let brother man get out.
You ran up on him before he got out the car.
Not the bed. I said, give me that thing. So I read it. But here's the thing, though. Even before I hung up the phone, I knew I was doing it. Because Denzel was calling me to do something. I knew he knows what's my
That's beautiful.
my wheelhouse is. Baseball terminology. If you're a baseball fan, you know about the 27 world champion New York Yankees. Thank you very much.
A little something about it. Yeah.
But anyway, that script been going around for years. And like I said before, I knew I was doing it even before reading the script.
Right.
And it wasn't until Denzel was doing press after we finished the film that journalists were alerted to the fact that Inside Man was 18, 19 years had passed. Denzel and I didn't even know that.
Felt like yesterday.
It didn't seem like it was since Inside Man.
Right.
So,
but I mean, I think maybe because you guys been in each other's orbit so
yeah.
much,
But here's the thing, though, we don't really hang out.
I understand.
Here's the thing, though, you can have relationships, great relationships, while being each other's mug,
Right.
every single minute.
Right.
And then when NBA schedule comes out, I'm looking when the Knicks gonna be in LA.
Yep.
He got courtside seats.
Yep.
I got courtside seats.
Yep.
And another thing, though, even more importantly, is that our families are really close.
That's
Our
the
wives,
thing. Yeah.
John David was star
movie.
Black Klansman. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's something I've learned, you know, as I gotten older. That when you had, and you know this too, my brother. I'm not even telling you something you don't know. When the foundation is love and trust,
Sky's the limit.
boom shakalaka.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's that. And here's another thing is that highest to lowest, right away I read the script. I said, number one, we got to change the title. So it's not high and low, it's highest to lowest and the number two. And also, with that thinking, I knew it had to be, Denzel and I were doing a reinterpretation and not a remake. And that's a big thing.
And for you, what's like what's the difference between a reinterpretation versus a remake for you?
Well, number one, of course, film was post-war Japan, 1963.
Right.
This is current day. The Tisha Mifune character was a shoe executive.
Right.
And this one, Denzel's a music executive. He's like Berry Gordy,
Right.
Quincy Jones.
Right.
So, you know, that's my thing, music. But the thing that
Yeah.
made it, which we kept, which is a lot of Kurosawa's films about morality,
Right.
morals, you know.
Right.
What will you do for money? What will you do and what you won't do? And we use
Yeah.
that for dialogue in the film where Denzel's character says, all money ain't good money.
Yeah. My daddy used to tell me that all the time.
All money ain't good money.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, man, like it's some powerful scenes in it.
I'm not God no more. I am.
All right, listen, God give you everything you want, right? No, God give you everything you need. So the question is, what do you need? How can I help you? I ain't saying I'm God, but I can help.
It's some great action set pieces, man. Like,
French Connection.
oh man,
Billy
was
Freakin',
that
Gene Hackman.
So what's your process? Like when you getting ready to do a scene like that money handoff with all the coordination between the motorcycles and the train, you know, when you
I'm glad you asked that question.
yeah, when you earmark the sequence and say, man, Spike Lee's about to make a big giant sequence. What's the first step?
Well, I love that film. In my office, alongside your sinners, my man did not just sign my sinners poster for me. He wrote an essay on it, and thank you for that. And it's prominent in my office. Thank you for that. And Black Panther too. So, in the French Connection, that one of the greatest chasings ever starts at a subway station named Bay 50th. And that was the stop for my high school,
Wow.
John Dewey. So they were shooting the film while we were in class. And so we went to see the movie and we see the subway station. We went crazy. And Billy Freakin, the late great Billy Freakin talked about this all the time, like they didn't have any permits. They
Okay.
just, you know, somebody could got killed, run over. They just went crazy. So anyway, I knew that was in there.
And this post Exorcist, right?
I
Or
forgot
was it
which came
before?
first.
I always forget which one was first.
I'll tell you, since you brought up The Exorcist, I saw it at the old Paramount Theater, Columbus Circle, and we waited 2 hours in line, freezing. And that was a thing. People were vomiting in the theater, screaming. I mean, that was a...
I can't imagine.
Linda Blair, head turned around.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
It was...
can't
And that was
imagine.
before... I'm telling you, when you went to a movie back in the day, you waited online. Hot, cold,
Real
the theaters,
cinephiles.
aliens,
Yeah.
Star Wars, Jaws,
Man.
people screaming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to explain, but back in the day when a film was a hit,
Yeah.
we packed.
Yeah. I feel similar. Like I hear the stories about the 70s, but I came up like in a multiplex era.
Yeah.
That kind of came in the wake of that, right? I remember I was seeing Jurassic Park. Like I remember seeing Jurassic Park. We was in a drive-in. You know what I'm saying? Like speaker on the car, and I'm in the car, Spike, in the T-Rex is chasing them, you know, Goldblum and them. They driving trying to get away from the thing, and they got the shot of the T-Rex in the side view mirror. It says objects are closer than they appear. And I'm looking in the you know what I'm saying, in the screen. I'm also like looking I'm checking my.
How old are you now? Right at that
Oh
point?
man, Jurassic Park was the same year as Schindler's List, so it's gotta be, is it 93? Like
Well, how old
93,
would that make you?
I was been 7.
Yeah.
But I seen Malcolm X. I told you that was one of my first movies I ever
with
seen.
your father. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was.
Let me get back to.
Yeah, where was we at? We was on. Oh yeah, Fresh Connection. So when you do a big set piece.
So here's the thing. Now I wanted the audience to understand that this character, played by A$AP Rocky, is smart. He's coming out of the pen.
Right.
Out of Rikers. He doesn't want to go back,
Right.
up the river. He has to get the money, the drop. So me being a sports fan, he should take the 4 train to Yankee Stadium. I want to say, oh, wait a minute. The hated motherfucking Red Sox are coming to Yankee Stadium. Weekend series. It's usually a Friday night, Saturday night,
Yep.
and Sunday afternoon. So which one is Sunday afternoon? Then I want to amplify. I say, oh, the Puerto Rican Day Parade is usually on Sundays.
Boom.
Boom. Oh, let's have Eddie Palmieri, the late great Eddie Palmieri, and the South Orchestra play. And then I thought about the Fresh Connection. So we're gonna have my brother, Dean, Mr. Allstate. Or is it State Farm? I get it mixed up.
So
Anyway.
Yeah, I think he state. Well, no, all state.
Yeah.
Mayhem.
Let's add him. So
Yeah.
let him be Gene Hackman. And that's.
Did y'all sit down and map it out with stunts and everything? Like I thought it just must have took like crazy
I
coordination.
just wrote it.
You just wrote it,
Yeah, and
and then went and got it done.
it was fun too.
And that's and that's Turturro's brother on the
Nick. Boston sucks.
Yeah.
Boston sucks. And then the funny thing is, they got the guy who's in on it, pulls the emergency brake. And then the packed Yankee subway car, they start saying, Boston pulled the emergency brake.
Oh my God.
Boston pulled the brake. It's you know what I'm talking about. LA, San Francisco,
Yeah.
Boston, New York.
Yeah.
You know, we don't
The rivalry.
rivalry.
Can I ask another question? How you land on A$AP? I thought you killed it.
He's a good actor. My wife produced the film he was in. So I would go to the set. He had it. Has it. And so I wanted him, but there's certain roles that, we have to see if Mr. Washington approves.
Right.
So we brought him in, and he did his thing, and Denzel gave the
Thumbs up.
And here's another thing, though, that I like to say. A lot of actors, when they have to go toe-to-toe with D, it's like,
You're scared.
wah, wah.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown. Wah, wah.
You can't be scared of the dude if you kidnap his,
He's so
kidnap his
powerful
kid.
force.
Yeah.
And in a film where the way those roles are written, they got to go toe-to-toe.
Right.
If Denzel overwhelms that person, it's a knockout.
Yeah.
Not even a TKO. It's just like,
Right.
boom.
Yeah.
So you need somebody who's gonna stand toe to toe. And A$AP was like, yo, I'm from Uptown Harlem, so,
Right. You got Harlem and Mount Vernon.
yeah, money on the Mount Vernon. A$AP, he held his ground. And that just elevated the whole film, especially in their 2 scenes together at the end.
Yeah, I love how it's glass between them.
Yeah.
Both times.
What we did, though, is that it's 2 dollies. And we jerry-rigged them together so they moved in sync. Because if you don't do that, they're human beings.
It could be
gonna
off. Yeah.
But they were jerry-rigged together. Oh, here's a real good story. Recording studio, action. Denzel starts rapping. I'm looking like,
Where's that in the script?
I'm looking at my sides. I'm like, where did this come from? And to A$AP's credit, he was with them. And in fact, A$AP has a line right there where he says, ad-lib is, what is this, a rap battle?
I got the blicky on me, OG, so don't try nothing tricky on me, OG.
I got mine too, Young G, 9mm. And a lot of reasons why you shouldn't with me either, Young G. I'm the one that can pay you. I don't need to be the one that's gonna slay you.
Is this a battle right now?
But here's the thing, though. Denzel, without anybody knowing it, was studying Nas, his Illmatic album.
Yeah.
And that raised the whole
Raised
level.
the bar.
What they did was way better than what was written.
Yeah.
So again, that's the genius of Denzel. And also, I gotta give Rocky credit because he had to go with the flow too because
Right.
there was a scripted scene, you know, but
Yeah. Out the window.
yeah, out the window, and Ace was there right there with him.
I loved it. I loved it.
So what's the box office number now? You guys bring it back now? You bring it back?
Yeah,
again?
we back for a week.
When?
Um,
Coming up, all right.
the 14th? The 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah, we back for a week starting December 12th.
All right.
We back in IMAX, you know, film.
All
prints.
IMAX theaters?
Yeah, in a few. I think
How
10,
many?
I think 10. Back on film print, which is amazing. You
Well,
know,
you got a major support for Warner Bros. You know.
Oh yeah, big time. So much like good timing for us with this movie and Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdi at the studio at this time.
DeLuca and Pam, right?
Yep,
Yeah, they
yep,
did. Yeah, they.
Yeah. Yeah, no. but just for them taking so many bets on.
Well, let me ask a question. I don't think a lot of
franchise
the
films,
audience
you know?
knows that there were several studios that turned it down. What was the issue? Look, you really we want people to hear this. Why? What was your ask that a lot of studios said, nah?
Man, it'd be hard to get into all the details. I mean, to be honest,
It was
man,
the biggest one. Final cut.
I mean, nah, like I think
Ownership. Let's hear it. Ownership.
I think that was a part of it, man. But truthfully, we were fortunate that a lot of people, you know, wanted the project
On certain conditions.
On certain conditions.
In other words, they fucked up, right?
I'm not gonna say that. You know,
I can say it.
But I'm happy we were able to find a home at Warner Brothers though.
That was the right home.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like and you know, it's not often that timing works out. I feel really fortunate that you know, we had the release date that we had and
Everything
we're
worked
able to
out.
we're able to able to get film prints made, get those out, and it just people came out, which is something that you can never control, right?
You know what this is?
Roll of the dice.
I remember seeing these movies. You gotta be like, Mama needs a new pair of shoes.
Man, new pair, yeah. No, it's rich. It's rich there. But for us, you know, like it's like you said before, I believe in cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm willing to bet on a good story connecting.
To the audience, right?
Yeah, and then if the studio believes in it and we able to put it all at the right time, the right way, you work hard and you hope that people show up.
Mm-hmm.
But I truly believe that there isn't an experience like a movie in theaters. You know what I'm saying? Like especially at this time, like, you know, it's so many ways that we disconnected from each other, right? Like I can get groceries delivered to my house. I can order food from my favorite restaurant to my house. I can buy clothes to, you know, all of these experiences are things that we used to go out and do in public.
Pros and cons.
Go to the mall, go to all the pros and cons of all of it. But for me, like going to sit in a movie theater, man, where and the thing for me is like not being able to press pause or stop it. You know what I mean? Like you know, because the first thing I'll do, especially when I'm watching something scary or I'm watching something that's too funny or too shocking, if I'm at home, I press pause. You know what I'm saying? Like give myself a chance to catch up.
Let me give you another example. Technology.
Yeah.
People in the movie theater on the phone.
Oh yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
On the phone.
Yes. That's tough, man. Yeah. I try not to do that.
Well, holy, what word you say?
Try. I don't do it. Yeah. I don't.
Oh, Yoda. What about Yoda?
I'm trying not to pass judgment. You know what I'm saying?
I really gotta say it because in my class, when somebody says the word try, I go, oh! And my TA puts in front of them the quote.
Yeah.
Yoda's quote.
Yeah. It's do or do not do it. There's no try, right?
Right away. Yeah. Oh!
Yeah.
And my TA's like,
yeah. Boom. Yeah. No. But I mean, like it's a sacred experience, man. Like I'll never forget watching Malcolm X for the first time. You know,
yeah.
like film reel, projected, Grand Lake Theater.
Oh, let me tell you a story real
Yeah.
quick. The reason I became a filmmaker was my mother was a cinephile. My father hated Hollywood films. So I'm the oldest of 5. So I was my mother's movie date. And one of the first films I remember, she took me to see Goldfinger. I was 6 years old. My mother always, she wanted to go to film, she would go that opening weekend. And she loved Sean Connery. Loved Sean Connery. And she took me to see, the theater's packed. I mean, packed. Like you talking about, it was like, just packed.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, those films are loud, explosions, gunshots, everything. So there was a lull on the action, and it was quiet. So I looked at my mother and said, Mommy, why is that lady named Pussy Galore? My mother grabbed me by the neck. Don't you see? What I do? What I do? What I do? What I say? The whole audience was dying laughing.
Oh man, they heard
True
the kid. They
story.
heard the kid in there. Like, man, who is this kid? Bro,
It was quiet, so everybody heard my voice. I was like, stop, you're choking me, you're choking me.
Oh my God.
For those who've heard that story before, too bad.
Oh my God. Did y'all stay?
Yeah, but you know, took the subway home. So, talk about your brother, Michael B.
I had decided I was gonna do a movie about this young man who had been murdered by
Say his name.
by transit cop, Oscar Grant.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man, Oscar
San
Grant.
Francisco, right?
That's correct. Yeah, a young man from Hayward, around the same age as me. I mean, it was really simple in that, you know, we needed an actor that looked like Oscar, somebody around the same age, and because I was thinking the movie was only gonna play in the Bay Area. You know what I mean? And I figured like if
Little did you know.
But I figured like if the actor didn't look like Oscar Grant, then people would write the movie off as being BS, like out the gate. So I literally was like, man, who could play this guy? And I started thinking about Mike B for that.
Have you seen him in something?
Oh yeah, I seen him in a bunch of stuff. Like he had been in The Wire.
The Wire. Yeah.
But he had done a bunch of shows with Jason Katims, like Parenthood, Friday Night Lights. But I was seeing him in movies.
Right.
So like he did a movie called Chronicle by Josh Trank, and he did another movie called Red Tails that had like a bunch of young black actors in it.
Yeah,
You know,
George Lucas did that.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Knew he was great. And the other thing about Mike too was he had a lot of fans. Like a lot of people had seen him in things, and it was interesting. Was also like different types of people. You know what I mean? You had people who watched The Wire, who was on some street shit. You know what I'm saying? You had people who watched The Wire that was on some academic. You know, I remember like a lot of moms watched the show Parenthood. That was actually set in the Bay Area, and was like, that young man's great. People who were sports fans who watched Friday Night Lights, and everybody kind of agreed on him being like the next thing. You know, and I met with him. And just we really got along, bro. Like he seemed really solid. You know, we came from similar backgrounds. He was talking about his parents a lot, his younger siblings. You know,
Where'd he grow up?
Mike's from Newark.
No.
Yeah, he was born in LA though.
He's from Brick City.
From Brick City.
Newark, all right.
Newark. And he the oldest of three. He got a little sister, a little brother. I got two little brothers. I'm about a year older than he is. So yeah, it lined up real smooth. And then when we got to work, that's when it really lined up. You know what I'm saying? Mike also played a lot of sports coming up. So I was an athlete before I started going to film school. So it's a
Football, right?
Yeah, I played football. Yeah, it's a work rhythm, a work mentality that we both really understood. He's phenomenally gifted, bro. Like he's been doing it for a couple decades now. But he's a great actor in that you don't see the work. You know what I mean? Like he just is the thing that's in front of you. You know?
Ain't lying.
So yeah, like we got on well, man. And while we were making Fruitville, like getting ready to get it off the ground, I was meeting with Stallone. You know, like to see about getting Creed done, and that was when I kind of told Mike about it. Like, look, if
you approached Stallone about Creed?
Yeah.
I mean about Rocky?
About Creed, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Met with him before we shot Fruitville, and then he came back around after, and then he and Mike met. They got along, you know. So it was kind of two movies back to back. Like that, and so vastly different from each other. You know what I'm saying? Like some spiritual connections as far as like what Mike had to do as a performer. we shot maybe 2-3 stunt days on Fruitville out of 20. You know, Creed, man, he had a whole month that was just fights. No stunt doubling. We had one stunt doubling.
Were any fights that you looked at?
Yeah. So what we did, Stallone was like a big fight fan. I'm a big fight fan, and we worked with our editors. One of them, Michael Shaver, who cut centers for us. But we, you know, I wrote out the fights, and then I had him find moments from fights.
Archival footage, right?
Exactly. So we cut together basically like a rip reel. You know, like, and we would put text on the screen like, here's Adonis, here's this fighter for this punch from this fight, or this moment, this tie up from this other fight. And then we got with our stunt coordinator. I don't know if it had ever been done before, what he did for us on that movie in terms of the physicality of it. You gotta go back to Stallone, like a Rocky 2 or Rocky 3, you know, where he's just fighting half the movie, and it's actually the actor. So each time we get together, I'm trying to challenge him more. He's trying to challenge me.
How does he challenge you?
Man, I think.
And does that come on the set or
Yeah.
Pro? Or?
I think it's actually on set, where he's trying to get to the truth of a moment, where he's trying to find it. He'll also demand a lot of me. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes where he's going through a lot. For instance, in Sinners, he's basically got to hold himself as he dies. You know, he's playing both characters. One character dies in the other character's arms.
We gotta keep everybody inside and the dead body out.
There ain't no dead body. You stay. Staying here with me.
So he's got to give a dying performance with a huge blood prosthetic coming out, and he's got to turn around and you know and hold himself.
That was done the same day?
Done the same day, yeah, with a lot of technical specifications. But we in a room that's the size of this stage, you know, and he's on the ground like just basically like essentially glued to the ground in prosthetic blood. So he'll say, "Hey man, I need you right here. Keep talking to me." And usually, like I pride myself on being there for actors, but I'm usually putting him in a situation that's so crazy. you know what I mean? He'll have to say, "Hey man, I still need the reminder, still need to be there," because he can handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of on me to make sure that I'm, you know, providing him those roles. Like I feel like you do the same thing with Denzel, right? I don't know if he gets a Mo Better Blues, a Malcolm X, a Highest to Lowest, if it's not for you existing as a filmmaker and saying, "Hey, I think you could play Malcolm. I think you could learn the trumpet." You know what I'm saying?
But he was attached to Malcolm way before, you know.
Oh, was it Norman Jewison?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, still, like the amount of things you had him do, I think that I gotta the amount of things you had him doing.
Oh yeah. Well,
You
look,
know,
here's
like-
the thing though. We're both very blessed to have our leading men, and you know, and it's a give and take, and you support each other. That's what our job is, and that's what we got to do to get the best out of our leading men, and they expect the same of you. And like I said earlier, is all this stuff is what we do is based upon love and trust. That's the foundation. Because if you don't have that, then
Yeah. No, for sure.
you up the creek.
For sure. I love
In
how
the
you-
script, was
Yeah.
it when did you decide our brother's gonna play both roles? Did that come?
Yeah.
When did that come? From the get go?
Yeah, the idea I had was for twins, for the Smokestack twins.
Brilliant move.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you, bro. Like and I think a lot of it is like I kind of ran out of ways to challenge Mike. It's always like, man, what's the next step? What's the next level? And for these characters, it just started to make a lot of sense, you know, for him to be these guys and to stretch himself in opposite ways. And to really, like, for me, it was a test of like how far we could get the audience to go with Mike. Cause he's so endearing and charismatic, you know what I'm saying? And these guys these are bad dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like both like the film is very much
Opposite ends of the.
opposite ends of the spectrum, you know what I mean? Like one is can be a cold-hearted killer, and the other one is a manipulator, you know what I mean? Like extremely manipulative, you know what I mean? And seeing these guys unapologetically be portrayed by an actor who kind of, I think Mike's superpower is the audience is kind of always with him. You know what I mean? So
You flipped the script.
yeah, this was putting it to the test a little bit, you know. Yeah.
Amazing film.
All right on Spike.
You know, I'm 68, and next year is gonna be the 40th anniversary. She's gonna have it. So God damn.
And I ain't done nothing for 40 years, bro.
So this just something. Look, it's not no supernatural thing. Just things you learn.
Absolutely.
You know, you just learn. You know, hopefully, the older you get, you know, the wiser you get. So
Yeah.
It didn't take me too long to say, Spike, shut the fuck up. Don't say a more.
Oh, man. I hear you. I probably gotta learn from that, bro.
Nah, man, you don't need to change. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Cause you're killing the game, man. You're killing it. You're killing it. Killing it.
Spike, I'm trying to.
No!
I'm following your footsteps.
Oh, my
more
TA.
time. No more time.
Come on.
I'm
Next
following-
time, I'm bringing George Lucas in here.
Oh man.
And Yoda too.
I'll put George on me, man. Oh man. Well, Spike, it was a pleasure being here in New York.
You know what we
talking
gotta
to
do? We gotta, with our families too. I know we're very busy, but we probably see each other like once a year.
I mean, this year it was probably 4 times.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, we gotta do
going
better.
Forward,
We gotta
going
do better.
forward. We're both busy, but we just gotta make time.
Yeah.
You know, our families, you know,
Yeah.
lives, you know, our bedrocks, you know. And
Man, it was-
we do like home and home.
Yeah.
you come to New York, I go
Yep.
to San Francisco.
Yep.
And sometimes we might be
Meet in the middle.
We can be Chicago. Love, baby.
Man, love you too, baby.
Bye, man.